All right, so the first thing that we want to pull up is the worksheet. And you'll see that the worksheet has this beginning inventory already inputted from the ending inventory from last month. They're the same numbers. Once we have that open, the next thing we want to do is pull the purchases. So you want to go to your dashboard here, orders, order history. You scroll down, download order records, and you want to pull them for the entire time of the period. So this period is November 29th to January 2nd. Scroll down. There's not many orders here, but you'll kind of get the gist of what we're looking at. Most of your orders are going to be a lot longer than this, so it does make sense to freeze this top row. And I also like to make them sortable, so you go to sort and filter, and what that does is it lets you pick out of these different columns. So if I wanted to look for strictly, liquor, I would just do this and then select all. But there we go. So now we're going to move this over to the worksheet. We'll come down here to order history, right click, move or copy, and then to books. So you want to go to COGS file, and then what do we do before that? So now we have two of them. So you just don't delete the first one. Doesn't matter. Delete. And then we're going to input our purchases this way. Looks like there's just liquor, non-alcoholic. So we're going to go formulas, auto sum, hit the enter button. And you want to make sure there's nothing in the plus minus or other. They should all just be either draft beer, bottled beer, liquor, wine, non-alcoholic. Those are the only categories that we look at. Everything else is a subcategory. They all need to be in those 5 categories. So for liquor, we do this. Click this box, it equals, and enter. And for NA equals total NA, enter, 695.44, 695.44. I know these are small orders, but just so everybody can kind of get an idea of what it is. If you're doing any transfers, you can put them in here, plus or minus, if you need to. It's more just so that you can see what your COGS are. The transfers are done back of the house anyway, so you don't have to really deal with that much. But that's just more, if you have a COGS issue, you can see what maybe it is. All right, so the next thing we want to do is pull the sales. I already did that. It depends on your system, if you have Pawsy or Aloha. But for here, we have Pawsy. So for liquor, 13,424. Sales liquor, 13,424. Draft beer, 1075. Bottled beer, 1305. Wine, 858. Non-alcoholic, 583.50. Now our total sales are in. So we've got most of our information. Now we're going to go to the inventory. So cancel to get out of here. I'm going to go to the inventory history. I want to go count summary. This is where you can see everything. And then what I usually do is I break it down into categories. Sometimes it's needs a little work, so you just hit category instead of all, or all in category, whatever. But you break it down by categories. First thing I want to do is make sure that we have the 5 categories: bottled beer, draft beer, liquor, non-alcoholic wine. Great. So then I look at them one at a time. So if I know that Bud Light is our biggest seller and Modelo is probably our second, okay. So I continue to go that way. I just look for things that jump out at me. So if I know that, you want to make sure you do a total count. I'm sorry, I messed up. Sort by usage. So we used 48 Bud Light. So that's what we want to do. Sort by usage, 29, 20, 24 sold. So then you go through this list and see if anything jumps out at you. Then you also want to check out the usage. So it looks like there's 3 extra Corona Lights on hand than we had at the end of last year. So our last period. So that's fine. You're not going to kill yourself over 3 bottles. So then I go in, check the draft beer, do the same thing. You always want to make sure you don't have any that come out as red or over as something that we created. So again, 4 cans of sugar-free Red Bull, not really a big deal. 33 bottles of Chardonnay. And just continue to take a look and see if anything jumps out at you. So this 15 bottles overages, that means we're going to go back and recheck that. For this video, obviously we're going to keep going, but that's something I would go back and check the count of, make sure we have 28. So assuming that your counts are all correct, then what you want to do is collapse everything here. And your bottle beer, 2780.81. Ending inventory bottle beer, 2780.81. Draft beer, 1644.40. Liquor, 13,579.90. Wine, 2722.02. NA, 1212.78. For a total of 21,939. So I'm gonna go back to this. 21,939. So I've got all the inventory. So now I look at it. Now I look at my COGS and see if anything jumps out at me. So our overall COGS number is good, but if I look, draft is at 48%, which is way too high. Bottles at 21%, which is pretty on par. Liquor is at 5.5%, which is way too low. And then wine is at 154, which is way too high. So then what I would do is go back to this. And now it's time to really drill down on these numbers. Did we really go through 48 Bud Lights? Well, actually, the bottle beer was fine, so don't worry about that. But draft beer. So a keg and a half of Dos Equis Amber. Did we go through all of that? Things like that. Wine is obviously the biggest issue. I think that this Chardonnay could be incorrect, but you want to look at your bigger numbers and the ones that are sticking out to you as mistakes. This should be helping our number, not hurting it. But we can go through and take a look and see what we've gone through a lot of. Another deeper dive that you can take if you're having trouble finding anything on this screen is export it to Excel. And this is going to give you a little bit of a deeper dive. Again, you want to categorize these. Put the filter on here so you can break out categories. So we're going to take them all out. I just want to look at wine right here. So we're going to look at wine and sort by the usage here. And this is the usage amount. So we went through $231 worth of Chardonnay, went through $214 worth of Sauvignon Blanc. So then I would use this to kind of go through and go and double check some counts to make sure that everything's good. And once I'm pretty confident on my counts, this should be in theory a lot neater. Your overall cost should be good. Then I would just finalize the inventory on here, and then you submit it.